This video will cover creating assignments in Schoology and syncing them over to PowerSchool. There are so many types of assignments that you can create. I can't possibly go into all of them here because we will be watching this video forever. So for the purpose of this video, we will do a very basic assignment, similar to one that you would create in PowerSchool, so that you can see how you put it in, how you added grade, and how you sync that over to PowerSchool. So in order to add an assignment, we're going to click on top where it says Add Materials. In this video here, you go to where it says Add Assignment. Your Add Assignment screen requires that you give it a name. And if you want, you can put a description in to tell whoever's looking at the assignment what it's about. Maybe you want to say read pages this to this, or whatever the case might be. Over here, you have the ability to pull it out of Google Drive. So if you've created something in your Google Drive, maybe it's a Google slide presentation that you want them to use, or it's a Google Doc you want them to use, or a Google Sheet that you want them to use, you can actually use that and pull it from here. So down here, you click where it says due date. You pick a due date. This is very important that you choose a date within the quarter or the semester that you want the assignment to be due. So I want this assignment to be due September 15th. I know that falls in quarter one. So if you notice here, it says quarter one down here, this period. You can also choose the various quarters, but your due date must reflect whatever date you have going on over here. So quarter one. Then you can pick a time and you pick a default value. The next important piece is this category over here. So we're going to click on category, and then you would have to choose your category down below. If you do not see a category, like it says ungraded or create a new grading category, that indicates that you did not set up your categories through Schoology. It is very important that you do that before creating assignments. So you would need to go to the Schoology initial setup video, and you would need to create all of your categories for Schoology. So since I do not have any over here, I am going to finish going through this. I'm going to select ungraded, and we make sure our periods are the same. Leave factor alone. Sync to SIS, leave that checked because that is how it gets to PowerSchool. And then you could pick if you want a certain rubric or any learning objectives. Usually we leave those alone. Down here you've got some options. If you click here, you can individually assign this to somebody. If you click here, you can lock the assignment so they can't do it. This here would be so that they can submit something to you. So perhaps the assignment is write a report, and you want them to upload that report, you have to give them the ability to do that. So this is now active, which means they can upload that for you. Here it says publish to students, which means that the students can see it. Grade statistics disabled, so if you want to analyze your grading on this assignment, you can enable that. Comments are enabled, which means if somebody wants to put a comment below this assignment, they can. It's a good idea to disable that if you want. And then copy to courses. So let's say I created this assignment here. Just like you can in PowerSchool, you can copy this to several of your courses at once. So you don't have to create the same assignment 5 or 6 times. So those are your options down at the bottom. I'm going to hit create. Remember, this is ungraded. There is no category. This is going to cause an issue for us. So I'm going to hit create. And now I have a new assignment ready to go. So once you have that new assignment here ready to go, you've got a few options here. If you click on the gear, you can edit that assignment. Maybe you made a mistake. You can unpublish it, which means that they cannot see it right now. That's a beautiful feature because there are times you might want to create a lot of assignments ahead of time and the students are not supposed to see them. You just want them to see them at a certain time. So you can publish and unpublish as you need. For example, if I click unpublish here, My assignment is grayed out. There's a nice gray bar around it, which means that they cannot see it, and it says unpublished. So if I click on it again, I can publish it again, which means that my students can now see this assignment. Notice how it's white, and it doesn't say anything about being unpublished. If I click on edit, I can edit all of the information that I need on that particular assignment. You also can move it somewhere else. You can copy it to another course, as I mentioned before. You can delete it, or you can save it to your resources. Saving to resources is fantastic. You all have resources. There's a resource tab up top. Every time I create an assignment or I create a folder with assignments within, I like to save it to resources, because what that will allow me to do is the following year, I don't have to recreate everything. I can just pull it in from my resources and it will be there ready to go. So we have this new assignment ready to go, all wonderful. Our category is an issue, but we're ready to go. We're going to look at this and we're going to say, okay, time to grade this. Go to your grade book. And then we need to change this, all grading periods. We want to see Q1. And here is our test student. That's interesting. Why is my assignment not in here? Ah, that's why. See that? All materials, all categories, ungraded. I'm going to click on ungraded, and there it is. So that's a good lesson for you, okay? If you don't see it, you might not have given it a category. So because it was an ungraded assignment, it's ungraded, and I have it here. So this one here, we're not going to be able to grade right now because it's an ungraded assignment. So we can't do this piece. Let's go back. So we're going to go back to our grade setup for a second. I need to create a category here, otherwise I'm not going to be able to continue my assignment. Once again, in the Schoology initial setup, you have a whole lesson on this. I'm going to do this real quick. I'm going to click add, and I'm going to call this one classwork, just so I have somewhere to put this. And I'm going to hit create. You don't even have to go into any of the rest of this. Done. Now I have a category. So now we're going to go back to our material. We're going to click new assignment again, because I need to edit this. And we're going to change ungraded to classwork. Save it. Now let's go to our gradebook. Now if I go to my gradebook, I could check my materials. I could say classwork. Q1. There it is, new assignment. So now, if I hover over it, it gives me the ability to grade this assignment. So I can click on it. I can give my student a nice 100. If I want, I can click this flag here. This flag will allow me to excuse it, mark it incomplete, mark it as missing, or I can put a comment on this for either my reference or a comment that will display to the student. So you would have to put a check in that box. So now that that assignment is in and it's graded, we're good to go. Something very, very, very important to remember over here. We have our overall grades calculating. In the Schoology initial video, I explained to you that you can create these categories and you could put weights on them. So you could say classwork is 20%, homework is 50%, whatever it might be. However, in PowerSchool, the school has already set certain values. So it is important to understand and to explain to students and parents the grade that they see here may not be the accurate grade. It's very, very important, okay? Because you might not have all of your assignments here. You might have some of them manually created in PowerSchool. So we create the assignment, we grade the assignment. Let's do a quick review before we talk about syncing. So you go to materials, add assignment, give it a name, choose what you want, pick a due date, pick a category. This is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Picking a category is very important. If you don't pick a category, you will have errors with syncing. So you pick a category, pick a quarter, decide your terms down here, and create. I'm going to hit cancel. I don't need this one. Once it's created, you can go to your gradebook and you can give that a grade. So if you do not see it here, go to all grading periods, change it to the correct quarter, and if you do not see it here, you can go to all materials and you could pick the category. Okay? Even that one threw me for a loop for a minute, right? So that's where you can do all of that, and then all you have to do to put a grade in is click it and put the grade in here. Now that your grades are in, this is where you go to sync to PowerSchool. So if you don't sync to PowerSchool, these grades will not be there. So now it's report card time. You haven't synced to PowerSchool yet. Those grades don't exist. So you need this to go to PowerSchool. So I'm going to click on this little twirling button so it can sync to PowerSchool. Then you say, well, how do I know it worked? Click on the clipboard right here. When you click on the clipboard, it's going to give you your status log. Oops, I need to configure this, sorry. In your PowerSchool and Schoology initial setups, I show you how to sync all of this. So I need to sync to save my changes here. Okay. Let's do the rest of these two. There we go. Okay. So we click done. Now that I'm configured, I can actually sync. I wasn't able to sync before. Well, that's another little thing that you need to know. If your course is not totally set up, you're going to have a lot of hiccups. So you click on that little sync button, you come over here, it is queued, it's doing its thing, and the action over here is going to tell you if it succeeded or not. It is really, really important after you sync that you click on that clipboard, because there may be times, more often than not, that you're going to have a lot of errors over here. And if you have an error, you click on the action and it'll tell you what the error is. Most of the time, it's that you did not pick a category. So if you get an error, click on it. It'll probably tell you there's no category selected. So you need to select a category in order for that grade to go over to PowerSchool. Sometimes if you don't have a grade, or maybe you marked it incomplete, or maybe you marked it as exempt, it might have a problem going over to PowerSchool as well. So those might be other issues that you might have. Oh, I'm so happy. This one generated an error. Let's take a look. View error. This one says an error occurred. Please resync to try again. So this one's not telling me what the error is, which means I may just have to resync. And hopefully it will go through this time. Let's see what happens. Could be one of a million things. This one just doesn't feel like syncing today. Let's check again. It's entirely possible that it's because my PowerSchool hasn't been configured yet for this particular course. So keep that in mind. PowerSchool needs to be configured. Schoology needs to be configured in order for you to start putting assignments in. Otherwise, these assignments are not going to sync over correctly. So notice that even I make mistakes, even I have issues, and I'm glad that they actually came up in this video, because this way you will be able to see them when they happen to you. So once again, you go to Materials, Add Materials, add your assignment. When you're done, go to your gradebook, grade your assignments, change this so you can see the assignment itself if you need, and then make sure that you sync it over. And notice my clipboard here has a little bit of a red dot, which means that there is a problem somewhere. So I'm going to click on it and we see that there is a problem somewhere. It could also have to just do with my connection right now to PowerSchool. It could also have to do, now that I think of it, you know what it is? In this case, it is because this is August 28th and our semester doesn't start until September 8th. So PowerSchool is not open yet. Ah, there you go. I just realized what it is. So that's why this won't sync no matter how many times I try. But it's always good. Make sure you check these errors out and you should be okay. If there are ever any problems, you just reach out and we'll see what's going on. That is how you create assignments, and that's how you sync them over to PowerSchool when it's ready.